Hey guys, I am going to go over the practice test with you, so make sure that you understand each of the problems, and as you go along, make sure that you are making corrections on your practice test. Okay? All right, well, here we go. All right, so our first learning target is I can explain how a ratio is a comparison of two quantities. That means two different things. So the first one, for every 7 shots player A made, player B made 3. So my ratio is just 7 to 3, 7 to 3, and 7 to 3. Just wanted you to be able to write it 3 ways. You should always recognize that that is the 3 different ways. Again, I always said that I'm probably going to do one of these two. Okay? All right, next one. On the middle school track team, there are 36 graders, 45 7th graders, and 25 8th graders. What is the ratio of 6th and 7th graders to, so that's telling you right now, there's my ratio. My 6th and 7th graders to total. So 6th and 7th graders to total. So 6th and 7th graders, that means you're supposed to add 6th and 7th graders together. So 6th and 7th graders together is 75 to, and then my total is to add all of them. So that would be 100. That's my ratio. Okay? All right, next one. Give 2 different ratios for a description of the ratio relationship using the following information. There's 30 preschoolers at the Early Childhood Center. 12 of them are boys and 18 of them are girls. So if I want you to write a ratio, that just means choose 2 of the numbers. So I'm going to choose 30 to 18. So if I look at my description, what that means, 30 represents my total. That's looking at my total preschoolers to girls. Okay. Next one, I'm just going to choose 12 to 18. So 12 represents my boys to girls. Okay. Okay. Now, more technically, you would write for every 12 boys, there are 18 girls. Out of 30 preschoolers, 18 of them are girls. All right. So that's learning target 13. Hopefully that should be an easy one for you. All right, let's look at 14, a unit rate. So remember, a rate, let's see, 90 miles in 3 hours, that is a rate. I'm looking at 2 different things. I'm looking at 2 different things. If I want to change it to a unit rate, that just means I have a denominator of 1. I'm simplifying it down to 1. So 90 miles divided by 3 would be 30 miles. So this is my rate. This is my unit rate. Okay. All right. So 6 to 8, that's not a unit rate. Not a unit rate. Ooh, 70 miles in an hour, that's a unit rate. 10 athletes in 1, you might have gotten tricked on this one. You see the 1 and you automatically think it's a unit rate. But no, look, I'm not looking at 2 separate things. So that would not be a unit rate. You would never say that. 10 athletes to 1 athlete. That's silly. Okay. Now, I could easily make this a unit rate if I said 10 boy athletes to 1 girl athlete. That would work. Okay. All right. That's learning target 14. All right. Learning target 15. This is the unit rate. Unit rate. So you're going to have to set up a ratio. Guys, when you look at your test, always look at the learning target first. That's going to give you a clue as to what you're doing. All right. Jack can travel 45 miles on his scooter in 3 hours. So how far can he travel in 1 hour? And how far can he travel in 7 hours? All right, so we're just going to set up a ratio. The first part is 45 miles in 3 hours. So I'm going to set that up. 45 miles in 3 hours. Okay, that's my first one. Now, I want to know how far I can go in 1 hour. All right, so that's just a unit rate. So 45 divided by 3 is 15 miles. That's my first answer. And then how far can you travel in 7 hours? So I want to go 7 hours. So how did I go from 1 hour to 7 hours? I just multiplied by 7. So I think that is 105 miles. Okay, let me check that on my calculator so I don't make a mistake. Okay, that's correct. All right, so you should want to come over here in 1 hour. 1 hour, he can travel 15 miles. In 7 hours, 105 miles. Okay? All right, next part. I have If 8 apps cost me a total of $11.92, what's the price of 1 app? That's just a unit rate. Remember, when we're dealing with money, money should go on top. So $11.92 for 8 apps, but I want to know how much 1 app costs. Okay, sorry for my writing here. All right, so I'm just going to simply divide it. So I've got my calculator here, maybe it's my calculator. So $11.92 divided by 8, and that comes up $1.49 per app. Okay, $1.49. All right. All right, next one, Starbucks drinks. This is how much it is for 12 ounces, for 16 ounces, and for 20 ounces. I want to know which one is the best deal. So in order to figure out which one is the best deal, I need to know how much it is per ounce, So I'm going to set it up by $3.45 for 12 ounces, but I need to know how much 1 ounce costs. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and set this up for you. Okay, so I went ahead and set them up, so now I'm just going to put in my calculator. So $3.45 divided by 12 ounces, that gives me 0.287, so that's 29 cents per ounce. This one, $4.25 divided by 16, that gives me 0.265, so that's 27 cents per ounce. And $4.85 divided by 20, that gives me 24 cents per ounce. So this one is the best deal because it is the cheapest per ounce. Okay. All right, let's see, do we have more in 15? Nope, that was learning target 15. All right, 16. It says I can make tables of equivalent ratios. So let's look at that. So we're kind of looking at ratio tables here. There's 70 Democrats and 30 Republicans represented. A friend claims that the ratio is 3-7. Is she correct? Well, let's look at it. So I'm going to do Democrats to Republicans, and right now my ratio is 70-30. Okay, so you can do this one of two ways. You can say I want to get to 3/7. You can look at it that way, or you can just simplify this. So if I were to simplify this, I'm going to divide by 10, and that would give me 7/3. Is that the same ratio there? No, so that is not true. What did they accidentally do there? They flipped it, okay? So no, not equal ratio, okay? And if you wanted to be more specific to help to justify your answer, you would say they accidentally flipped the ratio. So that's why the ratio, the order is very important, okay? All right, at Central High School, there's 40 girls in the marching band. The ratio of boys to girls is 3-2. So how many boys are there? All right, well, let's set up our ratio. We're looking at ratio of boys to girls, and right now my ratio is 3-2. And I want to get to 40 girls. Here's my girls. So how did I go from 2 to 40? I multiplied by 20. So multiplied by 20, I get 60, so there's 60 boys. Okay? All right, next one here. We have not done one like this, so let's make sure you understand this. At the high school game, the ratio of North fans to Central fans is 4-3. There's my ratio, North to Central. So North to Central is 4-3. Okay? If there's 35 more North fans than Central fans at the game, how many total fans are there? Okay, so this is not a total, but it's not the North fans, it's not the Central fans. I want to know how many more North fans there are than Central. So right now, how many more North fans are there than Central? How many more? There's just one more, right? So this is actually kind of looking at the difference, not the total. Okay? So right now the difference is 1, but I want it to be 35. So how did I go from 1 to 35? I multiplied by 35. So that means I need to multiply both of these by 35. So times 35, this gives me 140. And 3 times 35 gives me 105. Okay? Now, not finished. Need to go back and read the question. How many total fans are there? How many total fans? Well, there's 140 North fans and 105. So that means there's 245 fans. Okay? All right. Okay, we're still going because this is a big one. All right, so 4 shirts cost $15, and I want to know how many I can buy with $50. Okay, first of all, you just got to figure out unit price here. You got to figure out how many. That's your easiest way to do that. So if I look, let's see, if I can buy for $15, I can buy 4 shirts, but I want to know how much 1 shirt costs. Okay, so I just put in my calculator, 15 divided by 4, and that's $3.75. So that's how much 1 shirt cost. But I have $50. I want to know how many shirts I can buy with that money. So that's just a division problem. So that's $50 divided by $3.75. So when I do that, it comes out to be 13.33333. Well, the question is how many shirts? So can I buy a partial shirt? No. So that would just be 13 shirts. Okay. All right. Tammy and Danny are selling water bottles. This should be Tammy. Tammy sold 5 water bottles for every 4 that Danny sold. So together they sold 108. How many did each person sell? So we're looking at Tammy to Danny, Tammy to Danny. So right now the ratio is 5 to 4. But their total is 108. So we need a total row there. So total. Right now their total is 9, but I want it to be 108. So how did I go from 9 to 108? I simply multiplied by 12. So that would be 60 multiplied by 12 is 48. So Tammy sold 60 and Danny sold 48. Okay, you got to make sure that you answer that question. I don't want to just see ratio tables. You got to come out and finish the question. All right, this one might have confused you, but I think once I show it, you're going to be like, oh, well, that's easy. Jasmine has taken an online course and is now completing her end of course exam. As she answers each question, the progress bar at the bottom of the screen shows what portion of the test she's finished. She has just completed 16 questions and the progress bar says 20% complete. So how many total questions are there? It says use a double line graph, but guys, you can just use a ratio table here. So right now we're looking at questions to percent completed. So questions to percent. Okay, so right now I have 16 questions and I'm 20% completed. Okay, now my question is to total, what percent would I have to be finished? It would have to be 100%, which means you're finished if you've completed 100% of it. Not that you got 100%, but you completed 100. So now you just look, how did I go from 20 to 100? I multiplied by 5, right? So if I multiply by 5, I get 80. So there must be 80 questions. All right. All right. All right, learning target 17. So this is looking at your coordinate plane. I'm going to pause the video and finish the chart here because I think you're okay with that chart. All right, so I went ahead and filled out the ratio table here. So I did find out that in 2 weeks, it was $24. So that means I'm multiplying by 12 each time. So my unit rate is 1 week gives me $12. That's my unit rate, okay? All right, I'm going to forego doing this graph because it's so small I can't even work on it here. But just know your x-axis is the number of weeks. You need to make sure that you are putting titles. My y is my money, okay? And then you want to know what you can count by. So my highest value is 52. I'm probably going to have to count by like 4s there. Okay, and my highest value here is 624. So I might be able to count by 12s. All right, on your test, we won't have one that high. Okay, all right, let's move on. All right, let's see. Giovanni and Ebony are twins. They're arguing over who can solve the math problems. Don't you guys? Of course. So here we go. So it says Ebony, this is his ratio. So the first thing I want to do in order to figure out who solves them faster is really the unit rate is the easiest. So I'm going to write it over here. So Ebony, their unit rate, if in 5 seconds she can do 20, that means in 1 second she can solve 4 problems. Okay, because I just did a unit rate. So I divided by 5 here. And Giovanni, if you look here, Giovanni, in 2 seconds, they can do 12. 2 seconds, equals 12. So that means in 1 second, he can do 6 problems. Okay. So if I have that, so that should actually go for that one. Okay. So Ebony is a 1 to 4 ratio and Giovanni is a 1 to 6. So who's winning? So Giovanni can solve more problems in 1 second. So he is the fastest. Ooh, that should say 6. That should say 6, 1 to 6. Okay. So let's look and see. If each person worked at a constant rate for 3 minutes, how many total problems would they solve? Would they combine to complete? All right. So let's look at this. So Ebony right now, 1 second is 4 problems. So I need to know in 3 minutes. Well, 1 minute is 60 seconds. So 60 times 3 is 180 seconds. Okay. So this is Ebony. So in 180 seconds, they would solve. So how did I go from 1 to 80? I multiplied by 180. So I need to multiply 4 times 180. So 180 times 4 equals 720. So she solves 720 problems. And then let's go to Giovanni. Right now, in 1 second, he solves 6 problems. But I want 180 seconds. Oops, seconds. So multiply by 180. So 6 times 180 gives me 1,080 problems he solves. Holy moly. So they want to know how many total problems they solve. Well, together, 1,080 plus 720 gives me a total of 1,800 problems. Okay. All right. If there were 100 problems on a timed test, how many minutes would Ebony need to complete it? Show your work. So Ebony, right now, 1 second is 4 problems. Okay, I'm always going back to that unit rate. That's always helping me. But I want 100 problems. Problems is on bottom here. Okay, so how did I go from 4 to 100? I multiplied by 25. So 1 second times 25 is 25 seconds. It would take her 25 seconds. She's fast. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Oh, who would win the argument? Oh, I already did those. I did those. Okay, that's it, guys. All right, so if you have any questions on that, make sure that you ask. I'm going to put some stuff on Classroom for you guys to have some extra practice for the test on Monday. All right, have a great weekend. Make sure that you're studying.